Angels and the Texas Rangers. Ohtani against Dane Dunning, and the Angels a $1.45 favorite on the road here. Angels finally hitting the road after having their first two series at home at the Big A. And I go back to Ohtani. He was fantastic in the opener against the Astros that did not get the win because Joe Madden did what Joe Madden does. He pulled him after 4 2/3. And we talked about Clayton Kershaw last night, guys. Ohtani went 4 2/3. I watched every pitch of that game. He had 9 strikeouts, only 1 walk, gave up 4 hits. I think Otani's going to come up big here today. I think we are all on this game. We like this game. And when you look at Dane Dunning, Dunning is 1-2 against the Angels, a lifetime, a 7.71 ERA. And on the flip side, Otani's 3-0 against the Rangers, 2.86 ERA. I think this is a great spot for Ohtani to get back. I see him shutting him down here. I really like the Angels in this spot. Let's go to you, Jeff, and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I do too. The Angels have been kind of irritating. I actually faded him against Ohtani. I didn't like that matchup. I felt like Houston could hit him. I think you're dead right on what you said. I think he bounces back. We know you're gonna get something good generally out of Shohei. His bat's been a little weak, but and their bats in general have been weak. They've not scored a lot of runs. We're kind of waiting for the Angels to break out. Mike Trout hasn't looked real good. Brandon Marsh hasn't looked great. Rendon doesn't look great. You're kind of waiting for them to bust out. I think they bust out a little bit tonight, and I think we all are kind of on the same page here. You're going to get a good outing from Ohtani. You expect some runs finally. Dane Dunning's not a good pitcher. I'll gladly fade him at Globe Life Park. Should have some good weather. Should score some runs here. And this is kind of a spot I like to lay the run line in. And the good thing for us here, guys, is I mentioned on the sheet that we submit, this line was 130 last night. It's been bet up to 150, 145. So, I'm going to kind of look to it and say, you know what? I kind of see some busting out tonight for the Angels. Maybe get to that bullpen a little bit. I'm going to lay the run and a half here. We're going to get 9 at-bats, as I've talked about. I like that. I agree with you. I think the Angels and Ohtani bounce back. I'll fade Dane Dunning as well. I'm going to lay the run line.
Base winner.
Yeah, I like the Angels as well. And to price it, I've got it at minus 160. It actually opened up at minus 123. I really agree with the line move here. It's kind of, it's kind of like what's wrong with this game. It almost looks like a trap game because if you look at the components, I've got Ohtani, 83 base winner number. He suppresses runs 17% greater than the average pitcher. I'm not as low on Dunning as some others are. I actually have him 92nd out of 150 pitchers. I like the Angels bullpen in this spot. It's the 19th out of 150 for each guy. Each guy gets an individual bullpen number, and so the Angels bullpen with Ohtani is 19th out of 150, and Texas is Dunning's bullpen number is 130th out of 150. So we have a huge edge there in the bullpen. And if you look at the offense, and I'm not as down as a lot of people are on Texas's offense. I actually have them 11th in baseball, versus right-handed pitching. But I've got the Angels at 5th in baseball, so we actually get an edge there too. So all of these components that comprise this game, plus we get an edge in fielding, lead to that minus 160 projection. So at minus 145, I think we're still getting value on it. And, I guess if you're going to bet Texas, I guess my question to you is why?
I guess I'll also say Mark was alluding to maybe a trap. I think here's how, and I think he'll agree, this is how we know it's not one, and I think it ends up being kind of how we think it is. I think if this line stays at 123, maybe it moves to 125 and it just sits there, then I have some real concerns. Maybe even goes down to 118. I'm thinking, okay, something going on here. Something doesn't make sense. Kind of like that game last night. That's, I think, the kind of ways you can kind of choreograph what's going on here. This line has moved up. The smart people who are betting early, maybe like a Mark, who is one of the smarter people I've ever encountered, someone like that, those are the people.
Oh, that's really nice. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, those are the people I want on my side, at the end of the day. So, I think if this were to go down or stay similar numbered, then I think it is a trap, but it's not. It's moving up, and it's continuing to move up. Kind of like that Brewer game yesterday. Maybe that one was a little low, kept moving up. It was the right side.
Well, we go from a boxing match yesterday. I was getting ready to promote you two guys, and now we're going to a love fest. I don't know if I like this or not.
Well, listen, let me tell you something.
He was ready to come to Phoenix and kick my ass yesterday.
Let me tell you something. Listen, I think Mark's very smart. And I'm sure maybe he feels the same about me. The thing that
I love how you handicap, Jeff. We handicap differently, but much props to you, and I'm glad we handicap differently. It would be boring if we handicap the same way. So I'm glad we have that back and forth.
I think Mark and I, if we were at a bar together, right? I would, I think I would really choreograph Mark as just like a real smart guy, whatever. But if somebody picked a fight with me, I think Mark would be there. Like he's a little sneaky. I feel like I think he's ready and raring to go. He comes across as maybe a little bit of a nerdy kind of guy, but he reminds me a lot of Ian Cameron, the guy I worked with on the basketball show. He's long-winded. He's kind of intellectual. I like people like that because I consider myself kind of a sneaky intellectual. Maybe I come across a little rough or abrasive, but I feel like I'm decently smart. And I think Mark and I relate. No love fest here. It's a respect factor.
There you go. And I agree with you. I think Mark would be one of those guys that come up with a foreign object behind the bar. Like one of those wrestlers. He had the foreign object in the tights, and he'd come to your defense. That's
coming up with something. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
There'll be probably plenty of wrestling references in the future, guys. So just be prepared to that, okay? Got a little wrestling and boxing background there, so we'll throw that probably during the course of the season. Be prepared.